So with all that said, I'm going to make my official Super Bowl 56 prediction right here. Rams versus Bengals. Number 1 overall pick, Matthew Stafford, will be facing off against number one overall quarterback, first round pick Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was the number 1 overall pick 2 years ago. Matthew Stafford over a decade ago out of Georgia. And obviously, Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow aren't going to be in a throwing contest versus each other. They're going to be facing the opposing defenses. Stafford will face, obviously, the Bengals defense. Burrow will obviously face the Rams defense. I do think that Joe Burrow's job is going to be much more difficult than Matthew Stafford's job just because I know Cincinnati has gotten away with it all season, but the offensive line worries me. And I'm just going to say this right now. The Los Angeles Rams are going to beat the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 56. And here's why. First of all, the coaching matchup favors the Rams by a long shot. I do like Zach Taylor. I like what he's brought to the table. I think that he, at this point, is a lot more underrated than overrated. But I got to be real, people. I think Sean McVay is in the conversation for best head coach in the entire NFL. I think that he's that good. And here's how I think this game is going to play out. I believe both teams will come out and score a lot of points early. It will be a very close game pretty much throughout the fourth, heading into the fourth quarter. I believe this game is going to be close. I actually think Cincinnati is going to jump out to an early lead in this game. I think that they have nothing to lose in this game. It's one of those things where no one expected Cincinnati to be here. They're underdogs. I think Joe Burrow and this Cincinnati offense is going to come out and really punch the Rams in the mouth. They're going to punch the Rams in the mouth early. And I actually think Cincinnati probably will lead at halftime. But as the game wears on, I do think Matthew Stafford and the Rams will settle in. I think Matthew Stafford will make a couple more big throws down the stretch than Joe Burrow. And ultimately, I think the Rams are going to win. I really do. I think they're the better team. I think that's pretty obvious. Obviously, the best team doesn't always win, but I just think that the Rams coaching staff is going to make these second half adjustments. I think the Rams defensive line is going to overwhelm Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati offensive line. And as the game wears on, I just think the Rams are the more physical football team, and I think that they have better players. I just flat out believe that. And when I get the better team with the better players and the better coaching staff, and a coaching staff in Sean McVay that honestly has something to prove, because the last time Sean McVay was in the Super Bowl, he laid an egg versus Bill Belichick. Now, again, it's Bill Belichick, but Sean McVay and the Rams, they came up small versus the Patriots, especially on the offensive side of the football. And I think that Sean McVay is going to use that experience to his advantage. He's going to come out with a great game plan. And I think that overall, I think that the Rams are going to win. And it's one of those things where we don't know how Zach Taylor is going to respond to being a head coach in his first ever Super Bowl. Sean McVay has been in this situation before, and that's what I'm really riding on. Now, I will say this. I will not be surprised if the Cincinnati Bengals blow out the Los Angeles Rams. I would not be surprised. And the reason why is because I just don't quite know what I'm going to get from Matthew Stafford. I actually trust Joe Burrow in this matchup more than Matthew Stafford. And that's crazy. I'm picking the Rams to win this game, and I'm saying this, but the point is, to me, I think Joe Burrow is going to show up regardless. I don't see the Cincinnati Bengals getting blown out in this game. I think the Los Angeles Rams are either going to win a very close game or they're going to get blown out. And the reason why I say that is because it's one of those things where I just have a little bit of pause when it comes to Matthew Stafford. Because one thing we know about Matthew Stafford is he's going to throw interceptions, and he may not throw an interception in this game, but he's going to give the other team opportunities to take advantage of his mistakes. He's a gunslinger. And to me, between him and Joe Burrow, I think Joe Burrow is the more safer and more disciplined quarterback. And that's saying a lot because Joe Burrow is only in his second season, and Matthew Stafford is what? He's played in the NFL for over a decade. So don't get me wrong, Cincinnati. I could see your team pulling this off, but in the end, I think the Rams stars will come to play. I think that Cooper Kupp's going to come to play. I think that Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be a big X factor in this game. I think this Rams defense will play very well. And it's one of those things where I just feel like the team that has the better players, the better coaching staff, and I think the team that has the more sense of urgency is going to win. Because if the Rams don't win a Super Bowl this year, when will they win a Super Bowl? Because they pretty much mortgaged their entire future for this moment. when you look at Cincinnati, yes, they're on a Cinderella type run, but there's reason to believe that Joe Burrow could be back in this game, okay? Because Cincinnati, they have a ton of cap space. They can get better. They're just now figuring out how to win. Meanwhile, you got Matthew Stafford. He's getting up there in age. He's had some injuries, and it's a very tough division. So I don't know if the Rams are going to be back here in the Matthew Stafford era. And I think Matthew Stafford is going to realize it. He's going to realize that, and he is going to play big when it matters most. Not saying that Joe Burrow won't play big, but I think that Matthew Stafford will play a little bit bigger when the spotlight shines the brightest, just because he has the better team. And ultimately, I believe in Matthew Stafford as a talent. So I've got the Rams winning this game. I think it'll be a high-scoring game, and I think that the Rams will ultimately come out on top, like I said, in Super Bowl 56. Give me Rams over Bengals in Super Bowl 56.
Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God-blessed day, and I'm out.